Mando's amazing.
Mando.
Hey.
That's what we're talking about. Mando.
Have you guys have caught up on the latest episode?
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
Watched it
down,
last night.
we're down in the fucking mines of Mandalore.
It's wonderful.
We're getting the gifts from.
And we finally see what the sigil of the Mandalorians is based off of.
Yeah,
actual beast.
and it was Bo-Katan that made
mythosaur.
eye contact with it. Not it was the
mythosaur.
beast.
It
So
was
I
the
guess
mythosaur.
the mythosaurs returned.
Well, if
I
you
thought-
notice, she's able to wield the darksaber, where Din very much struggles
Yes.
wielding it. So,
yeah.
She's destined to do it.
and she's of royal bloodline.
Yes.
You know, I mean, even the armor is like she comes from a very powerful house.
This
Which
is
she
a
somewhat
gift.
wields the Force a little bit too, right?
I don't think
Because in
so.
order to wield the dark saber, don't you kind of
No.
need to
Mandalorians don't wield the Force like
No.
It's not.
Isn't that
the
well?
darksaber was created to fight lightsabers.
Yeah, they're not Force wielders.
What was it that he's lacking then that he needs to be able to wield the dark saber?
Will, I don't know. It's like it's almost
Like
like
it's
the,
a form of
He
it.
feels unconfident because he's not like a true Mandalorian or some shit. You know what I mean? He's not like from Mandalore like
He-
Bo-Katan
he
is.
said he came from the moon that was like right next to it.
Right. It's like he's always struggling, so that's why he's fighting so hard to get to the waters of, it's
Yeah.
like very important to him to get there so he can break that. Now,
Mando is
If you
taking
watched-
L's left and right in this latest episode, though. I mean, he gets kidnapped by the fucking robot.
That robot
dude.
that's just
Then
like,
he gets pulled underwater
taking
and
his
almost
blood.
gets killed.
so they pointed
what was
out
he taking? Was he tapping blood from him, or is it
Yeah.
some other fluid?
so
I
they
have a feeling it was probably used to sustain whatever creature was living in the robot.
the
kinda
robot
like
reminded me so much of
Grievous.
yes, General
That's
Grievous.
Yes,
that's what
yes.
I was
Totally
thinking.
thinking he made the same kind of noises too. Like, "Rawr."
I think that was the idea, right? It was the same race.
I would
maybe.
imagine that's the only use they would have
Some
for
kind of
Din's
technology
blood.
that-
It's probably because there was an eyeball inside that thing. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
there was clearly some kind of organic matter that was powering that
being
robot.
Yeah.
being honestly life support
So-
in robotics.
One thing too that I felt was a little bit of a missed opportunity in Mando, and I loved the episode, but I get why maybe they didn't do it, but I thought when he was going into the pool to like purify himself or whatever, that Bo-Katan was gonna be like, wait, let me see what you look like before you go in, because it's okay, you can take off your helmet and show me, because you're gonna go into this pool and it'll be okay after you do it. You know what I mean? He had
I'm
the
more of a fan that
opportunity.
he hasn't taken the shit off.
And then I think about that because I think about the Halo
He's going
show.
there because what is he going to sin one more time before getting forgiven? You know?
Oh, that's the thing. He could. If he wanted to, he could have, all right, well, I'll take off the helmet. I'm going in the pool anyway. Maybe she wanted to be like, I just want to know what you look like. You know, you're part of some crazy
Well,
cult.
she
You don't even need to
understands
do
more
this.
than most other people what like it means to him. You know what I mean? It's not
If
gonna-
this episode was an ode to anyone who watched the Clone Wars, I'm telling you, if you didn't watch the Clone Wars, unfortunately, you're kind of missing out on a little bit of the depth of the episode, because it's like ridiculous for Bo-Katan to go back to Mandalore and for the Mandalorian to go into the caves. It's like they're hitting on so many things that, and when Bo-Katan's speaking to Grogu about the past, there's
she's
so
referencing
many.
Obi-Wan and Anakin essentially because
Exactly.
she's saying
It's amazing.
we actually fought side by side, the Jedi and,
Yes,
and the Mandos.
and her dad and her mom and all of that. It's all laid out in Clone Wars.
And then she's saying like the
It's
Civic
really-
Center didn't always look like this, you know.
It's beautiful, yeah. The orb and all that, and Mandalore looked amazing. So, if you have the opportunity to watch the Clone Wars, I feel like because it's Filoni, it's Favreau and Filoni executive producing this.
Obi-Wan
It's so
Filoni.
deeply tied to what he did in the past, and that's why the Mandalorian. They were saying it. Somebody said it's not like a Mandalorian or one of. It's the. It's like he is going to become, and you can
Mandalore.
see it. She witnesses his, his like rebirth.
I almost feel like that they might try to swerve us and throw it back to Bo-Katan or something, because they're like, she was wielding the sword. She was the one that went down in there with him, and then
He'll-
she made eye contact with the beast. I thought he was going
He's
to come
gonna
up
Jon
right in the
Snow
thing.
it. He's gonna be like, I don't want it. You know what I mean? It's gonna be one of those things.
I have that
But
feeling.
he is leading her to believe that it's possible for the Mandalorians to be reborn, because she's very defeated. She's isolated. She's sitting on her throne, kind of sulking about this whole. She doesn't believe like any of this could happen, and he's drawing her back in, and that's what she's. I feel like when she's witnessing it, she's simultaneously reborn in it, because
Yes.
she
Well,
now
that's the
feels.
fun part about this story is that he's like a new character. that's kind of rubbing shoulders with everyone that we know.
Right.
And existing in this world. And I think that's why this show works so well.
It weaves it well.
And it's really based on like an old Japanese story of the lone wolf and cub. It's the
classic.
traveling Ronin with the baby. Like it's like straight out of Japanese.
We've seen the Japanese
lore.
samurai, the old Western. They've mixed that well. It's lost a little bit of that grounding at times, but. But
then they give you stuff like R5D4 is back.
Right? Oh, that's funny because that is the same.
He's still not even totally back yet. You know, they're still working on it.
No, right? He's not. He's in the ship.
I'm sorry. What was the name of the other guy?
You're talking about IG-11.
IG-11, yeah.
No, but R5D4 is the robot that had the bad motivator that Luke Skywalker and Owen Lars
in the
original Star Wars.
Really?
Yes. Sell you back to the Jawas.
Yeah, the little things, those little Easter eggs.
They do.
So it's like they kind of gave him his like redemption, or so like he's back.
Yeah,
R5D4 because he's never going to be R2D2, but to have something familiar enough to feel like you're in that world, that's what R5D4 is serving that purpose. Because everything is so new
and just think of it this way: for
then
us,
it's like
it's a
original
callback.
Star Wars is still there.
Like for us, it's a callback. But for anyone that's a newcomer, let's say, young people that are just watching this stuff, that will be a later callback. Like, when they see the original Star Wars again and they piece it together, they're going to be like, oh, my God. It's like, for us, it's so obvious. We're just like, oh, they gave us that little breadcrumb. Thanks for that one. But
because they always had, like, I don't know if it was fan fiction or what, that they had, like, R2 and R5D4 spoke on the Sandcrawler, and he explained his journey. And R5D4 like sacrifices himself so that R2 and 3PO don't get separated. So I don't know if they're gonna go with that as canon, or if they're going with the canon that he's a coward and didn't want to work for them, or I don't know.
Interesting.
That'd
Actually,
interesting.
Okay, I like that
to see where that goes.
So speaking of theories,
and very exciting in Star Wars news. So. They've been novelizing these books called From a Certain Point of View, and they have 2 books out so far. One takes place during original Star Wars, the second one during Empire Strikes Back, and they're finally releasing The Return of the Jedi.
I remember you saying that's like
and
your
what's
favorite.
Interesting is that each chapter is a different character, a different story in the Star Wars universe. And then one's about a Jawa that's on the Sandcrawler when R2 and 3PO were on there. One story is about these creatures that live underneath the cantina and get into gambling problems or whatever the fuck. And then they owe this guy and that guy. And then Han Solo's in the corner talking to Luke Skywalker, and it's all happening during Star Wars, but it's not affecting the story. It's just kind of happening around, and it kind of fleshes out the world around Star Wars, especially a lot of the Tatooine stories. I haven't finished the first one yet. I haven't started the second one, and I'm definitely going to scoop the third one when it comes out. I'm going to read them all.
Nice.
We also saw in the recent episode of Mando, Grogu start to exercise some more powers. I feel like
he's able to jump now.
The jump is
jumping,
big thing, which is Yoda. That's like Yoda would do that jump. Phil made a very good point. I didn't even realize. He said, "Did you guys realize that while you're watching, did you realize that he actually just sank in the water because of his armor?"
That's funny. I thought he was pulled.
I didn't get it at first, but yeah, when you think about it, because in Game of Thrones, that's how people die. If you're wearing a full suit of plate, you cannot swim. You're gonna sink. He took off all of his stuff. He took off the rocket, which is what she used to propel her through the water. So he went in there fully clad in heavy plate armor.
He's thinking it's shallow.
Yeah, I think it was probably shallow at one point, and then
I honestly thought he was pulled by the monster, but then I realized
I thought he was pulled too.
Then I'm thinking, now that he points that out, honestly, because he's just kind of laying there, and it doesn't seem like the what's it called?
Mythosaur.
Mythosaur is doing anything related to Mando.
Right.
So I'm like, that's weird. I don't know.
Just watched.
Also, I didn't see there was something of a breakdown about the significance of the return of the Mythosaur. I just feel like it's another signal to Bo-Katan, Mandalore can continue. That's the kind of the whole episode.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I figured she's going to try to tame that thing herself. I thought, because that's the whole legend, was that thing is in the lake. And once they introduced that concept, I was like, oh, it's in there right now.
My theory
He's gonna go
is
and tame it.
that
Definitely.
eventually Bo-Katan's going to get the Darksaber back, and she's getting her own show. Taking back
possible.
Mandalorian. Taking back Mandalore.
But where does
The planet.
Mando go?
Against the Empire, because it's a war against the
Well,
Empire.
I mean,
right?
Mando made appearances in Book of Boba Fett. I can't see them not doing something.
Oh, you mean and just make a whole offshoot about Mandalore
With
separate?
Bo-Katan taking back that planet.
I don't
and
see
then
them separating it just because of how essential.
Do you think
Din
that
is.
Mando is going to be the one to unite all of the...
Yeah.
He's got to be.
Plans?
Well, but then the question
whole
is too:
point-
is it going to
Because
be
they dropped
Mando?
the hint about all the people being spread around the galaxy and that
Yes.
the
The whole
the
point is
saber
that-
being
Will
the
it be
thing to
Mando
bring
or will
them
it be
all back.
Grogu?
Well, it's the whole point of it's the combination of it all because it's like Mando's ability, Grogu's special abilities, and then Bo-Katan's
Expert,
her actual blood is royal. It's like she's a royal Mandalorian. So if she tames the beast and can prove to everybody that, like, I feel like the whole trio of it all, it's all coming together where it's like you'll need those elements. It won't be a one single person. They don't want to do that. They want to kind of make it diversified to make the characters important. But yeah, I think that's how they'll build this. That's how they're going to rebuild Mandalore. Because she'll focus on actually rebuilding Mandalore, and he'll be out on adventures trying to fucking gather people and fight the Empire. Because the Empire is going to get pissed off. This is going to piss off the Empire. That's like, my thoughts are, wait, isn't...
Well, whatever's left of the Empire at this
Yeah.
point.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, they're
where
still
are
kind of.
where are we?
The Empire's in
So
shambles
remember,
right now.
Moff Gideon is
was
a
fucking-
prisoner of the New Republic, and he's being questioned right now. But we haven't seen Thrawn or anything like
post-Jedi?
that. So. Correct.
Got it.
Yes.
Post Jedi, right? Because Luke, gets Grogu.
Well, remember, it's like remnants of the Empire that kidnapped Grogu.
You know what's
in the
fucking me
first
up too? Because
place.
I'm watching Bad Batch, and Bad Batch is right in between. It's
Revenge of the Sith.
it's
Oh no,
oh,
it's
no,
after.
no,
It's post.
it's after, but it's
pre-Star Wars.
right. So it does kind of throw me off a little bit when I'm watching it. You're thinking of the timeline, like when is Rex? Like, because I'm trying to think, will we see any of the clones in
Rex
these
is
later?
supposed to be still alive by Return of the Jedi, so Rex could possibly still be alive during.
I'm thinking
Mando.
Rex shows up in Ahsoka. That's the only thing I could ever see because
He'll be
in
old by
Clone
then,
Wars, very old. He won't be important in terms of his ability to battle or do anything.
though. No.
But for Ahsoka, her connection to the clones was so deep, like it was terribly deep. Where when the Order was executed, they have a great series of episodes about.
Well, they're
her.
gonna bring Ezra in.
And also,
So-
Ezra's
It'd
important.
be interesting
to
if they start bringing Sabine in though too, because then she's another Mandalorian that's.
Sabine could, and also what's his name from the Jedi games?
Cal Kestis.
Cal, yeah, I think we're gonna see Cal because he's normally a TV actor anyway. I
Yeah.
highly suspect we will see him in the upcoming
It'd be
series.
interesting to see like the Jedi starting to form again, and like maybe meet with Luke or something. Like bring Luke back for like one last thing. If they're gonna
Right.
bring him back,
And then
like it would be
delete-
worth it to have him meet like Ezra and fucking.
And then go back in
Cal
time
and-
and delete the other three movies
Yeah,
so we
exactly.
can do something
Yeah,
else
they
that's
never
cooler
happened.
and fun. Like
See,
that.
I see them
that we
going in a
like.
different direction. They're building up like this spice syndicate thing that was threatening. What's the name of the planet?
Spice?
That
Oh, right.
Wait, hold on.
That's
And
true.
what's Carl Weathers'
Carl-
role now? He's like, what's his
He's
title?
Grand Marshal.
He's
or some
Grand
shit.
Marshal. Yeah, something like that. But here's the thing: what happened to the Marshal that they like freaking
Boba
he
Fett.
died and then
No,
they
listen. So
was that Boba
so,
Fett?
No,
Yeah, it was all Boba Fett.
mixing them up.
no,
Book
that
of
was
Boba.
on Tatooine. Who was the marshal of that area was Cara Dune. But since she got canceled, they explained her away that because he said what happened to her, like why isn't she the marshal over here? And he says that
She was-
because she brought in Giancarlo Esposito's character, she was promoted to special ops.
Right. They wrote her off.
The New Republic.
But what I'm talking
So
about the guy
she's
that's
not-
like in the back to tank, like that was Book of Boba,
Yeah.
the guy from Deadwood.
Correct.
Okay, so that'll manifest in its own way. The whole
Well, he was
spice
part
thing
of
will
Mando
happen
too, but
in
he was
Book
in
of Boba.
Tatooine.
Where's
Again,
Carl
we're
Weathers
not on
again? I
Tatooine.
forget where Carl Weathers is. I'm confusing. Where?
He's
What,
not in Tatooine.
what planet is he on?
Yeah. I'm
No, he's
mixing
from,
up
he's on
Book of
another
Boba.
planet, Navarro. He's in Navarro.
Navarro.
Okay.
And they renamed it too, didn't they? Like name it, give it some new stupid name.
No, I don't think so. It's Navarro.
Shit is hard to keep together though.
Yeah,
Tatooine.
Pardon my confusion.
The outskirts of Tatooine is where the guy that was unjustified. What's his name? Cobb
that.
Vanth.
He's great.
Cobb Vanth is out on Tatooine as well, but like a far off, like hick fucking town in the middle of the desert. That's where he is. And then, Mos Eisley's got its own fucking thing. And that's
so
where
that'll all be Book of Boba.
that's where
Manifest.
Book of Boba is.
Right.
Boba Fett is like the sheriff of
Right.
Nottingham.
Yeah.
The warlord. Okay, so that'll be its own story, and then you have Grand Admiral Thrawn will probably show up in Ahsoka. So I mean, I feel like that just leaves Mandalore for Mandalorian.
Oh, Sabine was cast. I'm sorry,
Really?
Phil did message us. Phil comments, Sabine was cast with a live action actress. That's right. I don't remember who it is, but so we should see her in Ahsoka. I'm very hyped for her.
Kanan's gone, but I wonder if we'll see Zeb. I don't know. Does he make it?
Jesus, even like.
And he was voiced by Steve Bloom. Funny enough.
You're talking about Ezra's fucking buddy. Yeah.
And
that'd be weird to see.
likeness,
I don't know if I could see that in live action. I'd be like,
his likeness was actually one of the concept pictures of Chewbacca.
oh no shit, is that where they sourced
one
that?
of the original.
Wow, that's cool. That
Or
was
Han
smart.
Solo, one or the other. Like it was like
Originally, not Clone Wars. Sorry, that was Rebels. Rebels was tough because it just kind of had
it was a
too
kiddie
hokey.
Clone War.
Yeah, it was too hokey. And then season 2, it really kicked off with the Vader shit, and it was like
Vader. Once they introduced Vader, and my niece was
matured the whole
excited
shit.
when they introduced Vader
He
because
looks
that's always
awesome.
been her favorite character.
And Ahsoka and the Vader episodes and that were awesome. And then that's when they introduced time travel in fucking Star Wars. That was the first time I ever saw like true time travel.
Retcon the Disney movies.
Instant retcon button.
But you know what really pisses me off? Even if they did that and like erase those movies, we will never ever see Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, and Harrison Ford in a scene together.
Yeah, they ruined it. They fumbled it.
They
time.
fumbled it and then lost the opportunity.
But hey, listen. There was a place where that would never happen. That
It was like Mark Sanchez.
Listen, George fucking could have done it, and he chose not to. Blame him. I'm telling you, blame him. That's my opinion. He doesn't get off light just by fucking selling it to somebody and be like, I could have done it better. You fucking owned it. You should have done it better, you dick. Why did you sell it then if you could have done it better? Don't say you could have done it better.
Blame Harrison Ford for hating Han Solo.
He created like digital video editing, George Lucas. Like he created so much of what the film industry is.
The video games we play today are thanks to George Lucas.
Yes,
because
it's incredible what he's actually.
Industrial Light and Magic walked so that fucking like people like Andy Serkis couldn't
all
run.
That comes from George Lucas. It's incredible if you actually watch. There's a great documentary about that. He invented it. If he could have done a better movie series, he fucking should have and could have, and why didn't he? I feel like he was scared of the backlash because when he did the last 3, it was like, kill yourself. Like, all right. I don't want to do this anymore.
That's always been the worst part about Star Wars is the fan base. The fan base has been so toxic for so long.
It's just the most vocal people are very vicious, and I feel like most people get by with just enjoying it and going on with their fucking day.
It's like fucking with people's emotions and childhoods. That's really what it is, and it's like you're starting to touch.
Nostalgia hurts.
Literally, that's what it is. Because a lot of those people, Star Wars is all they have.
Listen,
you know what I mean?
I get it. But
it's
come
like,
on now, stop it. So, yeah, I just feel like it's kind of a cop-out when I hear this whole thing. Well, George Lucas wrote these treatments that Disney didn't follow. He sold it to them. What the fuck? You know, if you could have done it better, he had the money, he could have done it. There's no reason to not do it other than you were either scared or just didn't have the energy. And you were like, I got to sell this and just move on.
Is he on the record saying I could have done it better or anything?
He's been critical, you know what I mean? And we all say
but I think he's entitled to that too, because imagine selling something to Disney. You think it's going to be amazing. You know, you're going to have high hopes like, hey, I'm selling this to Disney. It's in safe hands. And they fumble it.
I get it.
I could see, wanting to comment.
But still, if you could have done it better, you should have.
Well, at least now we do got something better with Mando. I'm loving it.
It's in the right hands.
There's a lot of good stuff to look forward to. Mando, Book of Boba, whenever the hell that's coming back. Ahsoka, whenever that's coming out.
Oh, that's this year.
Some of it's this year, right?
Yeah, and they're gonna trim down this shit. They're gonna start like really like focusing. I think a little more, investing more money in more focused shows. I think that's important. They've been carpet bombing with Star Wars and Marvel. Now it's better. Like let's focus. Let's get a really like streamlined story that interconnects with good fucking movies. Let's see a Star Wars movie. Need a good Star Wars movie. Like, I need to see Star Wars in theaters again. Like, soon.
But done the right way.
The right way.